Am I live? I've never. Am I live? I am live. I am live. All right, so I'll just wait for somebody to get in here. I know. Clay said, my friend Clay says it's funny because of the title. Transmission interrupted. Well, they interrupted the transmission, you guys. But I definitely covered my tracks. I'm definitely should be covered by Title 17 or whatever it is, the Fair Use Clause. Clearly, the nature of my channel, me popping in here and talking about my views on this stuff, this is commentary. And all of this footage, by the way, is already available on YouTube in the first place. So I'm not breaking. I am now. And I'm not a rule breaking kind of guy. Never mind. I've got a good relationship with YouTube. Awesome. You're coming back. So, but it just is what it is. And I guess I'm not too surprised. It might have been from that one clip that I tried to bypass, that Saturday Night Live clip. But that's okay, you guys. You don't run a channel like this and expect for things to go smoothly, you know. So I'm just going to jump back into it. Hopefully some of you guys will migrate back. Please, now that you see that, you know, they're trying to shut it down, maybe help share this stream out. You've gotten a taste of what the rest of this is going to be. Just a bunch of clips about predictive programming and subliminal messaging and media mass mind control and that kind of stuff. Okay, we got 6 people back. I'm just going to get back into it, guys. Thanks for those who came back. Hope some of you would join us, and we're getting back into it. Transmission interrupted. Maybe we'll be interrupted again. Let's see how many times YouTube lets me do this. All right, here we go.
They listen eagerly for anyone who can tell them what is wrong and what to do to right it.
And the best way to sell is to find an access to the subconscious. So you're not just presenting a product or a picture or a celebrity in film. You're making that accessible to the unconscious processes of millions of people.
Most of America learned about the concept of subliminal advertising in 1957. There was a marketing researcher by the name of James Vickery, and he announced that he had done this very elaborate experiment, supposedly.
He claimed that he had conducted a secret experiment in a New Jersey cinema in which he had flashed the words "hungry, eat popcorn, and drink Coca-Cola" over the movie Picnic starring Kim Novak.
And they weren't even single frame ads. They were much faster than that because he was using something called a tachistoscope.
The high-speed tachistoscope. This is a projector that flashes about 1/50th of a second, though you can change that speed.
And he reported that the Coca-Cola consumption went way up, the popcorn consumption went way up.
Enormously successful.
Like if you're watching a film and all of a sudden something will quickly flash that you can't actually see, and it puts it in your mind that you maybe want a Coke.
In the 50s, you know, like when movies started turning out, you used to go to movies, used to put the little popcorn thing, right, subliminally there. And
I've heard that they do that in like movies, like buy Coke is like flashed on the screen when it's right before the movie starts. So I could see how you could.
Do you think they're doing that in movie theaters? Do you think it's...
I don't know, I get really thirsty.
Yeah.
A lot of companies were interested. A number of TV stations agreed to run subliminal ads.
Many competitors came into the field with other products, and Television and radio stations openly admitted that they were experimenting with it.
Radio stations were going to run whispered ads where they'd whisper things like buy Oklahoma oil or drink 7-Up very softly beneath the records that the disc jockeys were playing.
And it caused an outrage. The public got very nervous and very excited about it.
There were all sorts of editorials against this. Congress decided that they would have to hold hearings on this. Vickery went to Washington to demonstrate this process.
And this led to statements like those by Norman Cousins that condemns subliminal as the most dangerous technology to have ever been developed by man.
Networks rather quickly decided that it was in their interest to prevent Congress from acting, so they formed this National Association of Broadcasters, and they all agreed that they would not allow subliminal advertising.
And they took the position that it didn't work. They tried to calm the public's anxieties by insisting that it wasn't effective.
Vickery dropped out of the consulting business and kind of retired. And as he later admitted, this was all basically a scam. The experiment that he said he'd done, he hadn't really done.
They increased the consumption of Coca-Cola and popcorn enormously.
And there's a little grain of truth to it. I mean, there have been other experiments.
Arguably, there might be a moderate increase as a result of commands like drink Coca-Cola. It couldn't possibly amount to the statistics that he had suggested.
But once you let the genie out of the bottle, it's very hard to put it back in. So we've had this almost a mythos of subliminal advertising ever since then.
So motivational researchers in the 50s developed a variety of electronic equipment that they could measure people's unconscious reactions to. Like one of these was a galvanic skin response where they would measure minute fluctuations in the amount of sweat on your skin, which was related to your state of anxiety, or also a heartbeat, or they had special cameras in supermarkets that would measure the dilation of the pupils that would indicate how interested a person was in a product.
The advent of new technology, positron emission tomography, enhanced magnetic resonance imaging, etc., and we're seeing a whole lot of new research come out, shows us what areas of the brain are excited by subliminal stimulation.
Kilborn and Associates in the mid-'80s did a fascinating experiment when they took two actual advertisements that they believed contained subliminal impacts that they had found on their own. And one of them was a Marlboro ad, which showed guys on a horseback driving through the range with big rocks around them. And one of the rocks, allegedly, had been made to look like an erect phallus. And they hired an artist and they adulterated the picture and took the phallus out so they would have a control. And then they showed it to people and measured their galvanic skin responses and found out that the picture with the phallus had a greater effect than the picture without the phallus.
The Rescuers, Disney's 23rd animated feature, was released in 1977 and introduced us to the Rescue Aid Society, which was an organization that was based in New York and helped abduction victims around the world. This subject matter was deeply political, and Walt Disney himself delayed its development in the 1960s because of concerns about this. But it was revived the following decade as a project for trainee animators. Despite its already risque narrative, there's a moment around 38 minutes in when things are equally as controversial on screen. Bianca and Bernard are flying through the city while sitting in a sardine can on top of the bird. And in a background apartment window, there's a clear image of a topless woman. According to Disney, this hadn't been done by the original animators, but during post-production when the film was re-released on VHS. Once it was spotted, they had to recall as many as they could, just in case that one frame warped any impressionable young minds. During the part where Prince Eric and Vanessa are being married, the bishop conducting the ceremony appears to be enjoying his responsibility a little too well when an unfortunate bulge appears. According to one of the animators, this was actually meant to be the bend in his knee, but that excuse didn't convince everyone, and someone even tried to sue Disney for it because it was not suitable for children. If you don't remember seeing this, it's likely that you've not seen the original version of the film. For recent re-releases, the offending object has been edited over to prevent any more young minds from being corrupted.
Tonight, a seedy secret language used by pedophiles. So how in the world did it end up on a souvenir toy sold at Monster Jam races? This is one of those stories that'll make your head spin. And what's really upsetting, the designer of the toy is based in Bradenton. We sent 8 on your side's Melanie Michael to find out what is going on here. So Mel is live at Ray J, where Monster Jam is always packed. Mel, this is truly a disturbing story for parents.
Good evening to you, Josh. Disturbing all the way around. What a disturbing story and what a horrifying story it turned out to be when we got all the details.